Yeah, welcome back, everybody. This is Night Flight, and Trina Phoenix is back, and we will talk about the astral world. So, yeah, Trina, I think when I look around what is going on right now, we briefly talked about it before we started recording. There must be a hell of a buffet right now in terms of luge. You know what I mean?
Yes, interesting you said that word. We could have a big conversation just about that because that is a very interesting topic. And thank you so much for having me, Judith. And it's wonderful to be back with you. So yeah, this could be fun.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, it, when I look um, at this phenomena with the rapture, yeah, that
Mhm.
failed, and allegedly now it will happen on 7th of October or the 8th, and most likely it will fail again. I I looked last night and I found one video that announced a rapture on the 7th or 8th of October from 9 years ago.
Hmm,
So
interesting.
this is not the first time that these dates have been thrown around, but regardless of what you make of it, it shows me one thing that people are exhausted to the maximum and they are so ready to leave and to go. And that must have a reason.
Yes, I agree with that.
Mm.
It seems like we go through these crazy cycles, you know, and we're truly in one of those ends of a cycles and the beginning of a new one. And it appears that these are some really big ones. We're closing and opening new ones. So it's a ride. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we when we talk about the astral world, I I thought about it the last couple of weeks, and I thought I cannot prove that, but I have a strong feeling it is still part of the matrix.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's too. It's one of the lowest densities of the astral.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah. Uh,
you think
We were
there is
talking.
a lower astral, middle astral, and then a higher astral?
I think that every realm, which an astral realm
Hmm.
would carry dimensions, just as all the other realms do. And they're all locked into a vibrational rate. So this is the designation between the realms. It's the vibration. So it's quite amazing. Like I said, I think the astral realm is much larger than people are like putting it together because in essence, you don't get to separate from any of it as you are part of it. So, you know what I mean? Even if you're in a, I think like, people are talking about jumping timelines and jumping into new earth and 5 dimension and all this. That's a fifth dimensional realm. So it's a realm of fifth dimension carrying multiple dimensional frequency potentials within that dimension. So it's people interchange these words. But when you start to understand your astral body is literally connected to every single one of those bodies, because your astral body is part of your specific light body. And that light body, that frequency, which is it, you have 5 different layers of light body, which is the biofield, or people call it the aura. I mean,
Mm.
these words are all interchangeable. So when you're looking at light body, the light, the spirit, the thought, the magnetism, the elements, the vibration, the sound, those all come before the matter because they produce the matter. So, and to get into matter, we are slowed way down,
Mm-hmm.
way, way down. So it's low and slow here, it's low and slow. So, but this is how you can experience all these different kinds of life. And the sensory here is potent for physical, the skin you're in because it's connected to everything that exists through your antenna system, through your DNA, through your bones, through your organs. All of these things are different antennas to different part of the universe, which are all part of your energy field. So your body contains the wisdom of all of it. And where you vibrate or imagine or intend, and the biggest one here seems to be because the magnetics seem to rule in this level. Like magnetics are super powerful. So where you're feeling, which is a magnetic force that you use, is usually where you're going to reside. So the feeling part is almost more important than the thought because you can be thinking happy thoughts all day long, but feeling empty or feeling frustrated or feeling, however you're feeling. That's going to dictate what's going to manifest around you. It's just kind of how it's going to work. So the astral to me, it's so beautiful because people, and most people are speaking of, the immediate layer of your energy body. So when they're getting out of body, they're literally just accessing their field. So you kind of are going out, but literally that's what connects everything in. That's where everything is existing from, pertaining to you as an individual soul spark. That's all in essence it's going to be left when you drop your body. You're going to be this vessel of light, code, information, sound, vibration, geometry, sigils, symbols, DNA. It's a magical, beautiful conglomeration of energy because energy can take multiple forms. It doesn't need to be just, in a physical human body.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So when usually we um, think of the astral as a place where a lot of, yeah, deception is going on and where energy harvesting is going on, where, yeah, let's say critters are moving around that are not up to anything good. And I thought about if that is, you know, the fact for the entire astral realm, or if it is more like here, I mean, you have horrible people and wonderful people all around the world, yeah, no matter where you go. And is it possible that we just don't hear about those that, yeah, let's say, are more benevolent? Or is it for them impossible to stay there for a longer period of time without going nuts? Or it becomes unbearable so that they had to leave the realm. I'm not quite sure what to make of that.
I think you got all those scenarios when
Mm,
you start getting into the astral, because see, the astral is a part of you. But it's the part of you that most people enter immediately upon death. So it's like the closest layer to you. This is why sometimes we can see ghosts and the things from the astral bleed into the material. So this is why this phenomenon is possible. And we can see beings, interchanging between dimensions. A lot of people claim like Sasquatch, Bigfoot is an interdimensional being. It can travel between the dimensions. So this is probably why most of this is present, and we see some of it, but a very small amount. But that's only due to what you are as your human body with the light spectrum you're allowed to see through your eyes. That's why people see more when they see with their inner eye, because the inner eye has the ability to perceive more light. Does that make sense?
hmm
So the astral is going to be the most immediate spot that you're going through your Akashic records, which are connecting to a collective in the same vibrational rate. So this is where you're going to see your deceased spirits, you're going to see dark spirits, you're going to see lower level and more heavenly levels. And it, depending on where you're feeling, is where you're going to be in that range of dimensions within the astral realm. And it's going to put you in that perspective because you're guiding the whole experience. And I know it's tricky because, we have fear and all these different things, but this is, you're going to be with you. It's kind of, people are like, oh, I'm going to be this magical. I'm like, no, you're you. You're still you. You have an awareness of self. It will change as you get different layers of information coming in through higher vibration. It's a powerful remembering. It's like birth back, it's like death backwards. It's being born, but it's into a remembering instead of a forgetting. It's backwards. It's all backwards. So yeah, so the astral, it is filthy, dirty. It has parasites. It has mimics. It's got copycats. It's got nothing but mirrors or wanting to feed and wanting to loosh. This is the primary because the astral is super close to the physical, so they're not transferring out. These energies are stuck or they're hanging out there on purpose because they want to still experience this through bodies. So they will do anything in their power to utilize you. That's what they do. So yeah, a lot of people go and play in the astrals and they think they're talking to this one or that one, and that might not be what you're dealing with. And then too, I see a lot of people that travel and they come back with horrible parasites and attachments, like octopuses stuck to their bodies and stuff. I'm like, holy macaroni, what is that? You
Mm.
know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can get, I'm pretty sure, a lot of unsavory things and bring them back. And that brings me to another topic,
Uh-huh.
and that is astral bliss.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and that is sometimes when I think about, and I'm not saying that in general, there's something wrong with the feeling of bliss. We all experience it from
Mhm.
time to time.
Yeah.
Um, but astral bliss, I sometimes have, when I think about it, I get this image that there are little critters gnawing at my energy field, and that is what feels like bliss. Yeah.
That could be very potent because I do believe that a lot of these beings can literally go in and target specific emotional responses within the human. And you also hear about this with sexual stuff with, incubus and succubus and these different energies. And they all trigger different triggers. They're all doing different jobs, working different ways. That's why sometimes they're very hard to identify. Hmm.
I think that is also something that we find a lot of times in the new age.
Oh
Astro.
yeah, they don't even know. But they have parasites and etheric implants and all these different energies. And they're very specific for the person and they're very subtle in the beginning. But there's a whole layer of symptomology that it's experienced the deeper it goes. The first one is oppression, then it becomes depression, and then it eventually can become a possession. So it's a process of layering. But once you identify these things, you can handle it. But identification is typically the hardest part. Yeah, because they'll
Uh,
talk to you through your own consciousness. It's in your own consciousness. So you're like, I'm thinking that. You really got to check your own thoughts sometimes.
mm,
Check it with your gut. Check it with your heart. Check it with reality. Is this good? Is this compassionate? Is this, being a good person? Check yourself. because no, these signals are made to come in as you. So it's very tricky.
Mm.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
can trigger anything they want.
yeah,
Love bomb you, bliss you out. Oh yeah. They'll take the ride however they can get in. Yeah.
mm.
That's why you got to clean your energy all the time.
And how do we do that?
There's so many ways. Breath, just a simple act of intention, breathing to clear, grounding, simple things. Salt is light. It's dark, don't like light. Laughter. Oh my goodness, one of the best ways in the world. Prayer. People, prayer, I'm sorry, the frequencies are off the chart. Harp music. Crazy enough. It clears the bells. Why do you think they got rid of all the bells, Judith? Oh, can't have the bells. No. Yeah.
Mm,
Sound. Sound. I mean, there's just the sun. There's a million ways you can do it. Everybody's different, and that's part of it. Who am I? How do I charge the fastest? You know what I mean? What makes me get into that for me? This is part of your self exploration where you find out it's like, okay, I'm built more of this, because I'm very fiery. So you got to figure out if you're water, if you're air, if you're earth, what are you? You know, do you? Because nobody's going to be able to heal you or fix you better than you, because you are it's amazing what you have inside.
mm.
Hmm. Yeah,
Sometimes when I'm standing under the shower, I imagine that I'm not only cleaning the body, but that I just close my eyes and then I imagine that all the bad energies just get washed away.
that's beautiful. That is beautiful. That's what I mean. The way that you intuitively do it for you is probably the most powerful, best way to be done.
Mm,
Because I promise you, the wisdom that when you ask for it and you want it clear and you have intention, the information that comes into you, if it resonates with your gut, your belly, if it feels good, I would go with that. And I'd go with that and I'd feel it as big as you could. I mean, amplify it as big as you can because it's just going to be more perfect medicine for whatever you need. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you spend time under the shower anyway on a daily basis, and so yeah, why not combine it? Yeah, why make it so complicated?
It's like a tool, and it's a very powerful tool because the world is responding to you because that's the way it is created to do so. So it's not like, oh, you're the special person. No, it's happening to every single one of us. What we are thinking about and feeling about and seeing and putting in our mind and thinking about, it shows up in your reality. And when you really start to understand that we are in some type of a quantum field, that this is definitely, it is affected by the observer. So when you start to realize that you can drive the reality instead of just being like, because the whole reality is based to make you go into a certain path. It's got everybody herded into a certain direction.
Mm,
So, if you're not consciously driving, you will just be part of the collective. So, you know what I'm saying? So when you understand the power of your own thought and your own feeling and your own attention, where are you placing your attention? It does reflect in your reality. So this is, the goal is trying to get people to, maybe we have a better plan for the world than the one that's been expressing itself, you know?
mm. Yeah. What is expressing itself right now is very confusing, huh?
Yeah, yeah, we're going off the rails on a crazy train. Done, done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on a crazy train right now.
Mm. I heard something about this three-eye atlas.
Mm,
Um, the line of thought was that it is an Anunnaki ship and that the so-called um, ships that are accompanying the Three-Eye Atlas are actually our ships, and they are trying to destroy it, and that we are basically at war with the Anunnaki. And then, of course, came the Pete Hegseth meeting, and speculations were running wild. How do you feel about that?
In this wacky world of woo, anything's possible. It really is. And I think we're creating it. This might be why they throw these agendas out there because we'll make it real. Oh gosh, we really could. So yeah, but you know, there there's seven of these things coming in, apparently, seven comets. That does represent the mighty seven of the Elohim, and they say the gods return. So there is a lot of potential to all that stream of thought. Um, but when I tuned into it, I saw three eyes and I thought past, present, future, and measurement. So that's what I got. And I got the intelligence. There was an intelligence, and I don't think it's just a comet. I think it's something different, cloaked, probably ship. But I don't know. But that's what I got. But uh, there's something to this for sure, and it's a big deal, and it's part of this transfer of the age. Like this is a monumental, it's happening now. The transfer is happening. And to me, and then I thought about too, oh, Atlas, that's the god that holds the world on his hands. And then I thought, oh, and the next one that they named right behind it, they're calling it Swan. Well, what's the god that represents the swan? Apollo. Okay, we got two of them already. Who are the other five? So I really think this is going to be, yeah, interesting because we've got Atlas and Apollo showing up on the stage first and second. So
Yeah.
interesting. Hmm.
Didn't Zeus also disguise as a swan to seduce a specific woman who was married to another man?
That could be very true. I think that is right. I think I do remember something like that.
Yeah, there is
I think
something in there,
so.
but I'm not quite sure about this.
Was
Yeah,
it Medusa when
what?
she turned?
No,
Was it
no, no,
Medusa?
no, it was not Medusa. Mm-mm, mm-mm. But anyhow,
Zeus, Athena. Hmm. Was it Athena?
Leda, wasn't her name? Leda and the Swan. Yeah,
Huh.
I think it,
Interesting.
yeah. Uh,
Very interesting.
anyway, when I think about this object, whatever it might be, I'm open for the suggestions. So,
Me too.
uh, I- when I feel into it, I don't feel any fear.
I
Doesn't
didn't
doesn't
feel fear
happen.
either.
Mm,
Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't feel fear. I felt they were measuring something. That's what I felt. Like it was literally, it was checking out everything and it was looking at it past, present, future, and all the timelines. I was like, wow. And I saw measurement.
So
So
more like a reconnaissance mission.
kind of, yeah, exactly. Coming first to make sure everything's chill or whatever. I don't know, but that's what it felt like. It was it was measuring stuff. That's what it felt like to me. And it felt like it was looking at past, present, and future. That's what it looked like to me. Like I said, I don't know. And all these people have all these other really random cool ideas. I'm like, there's something coming. This is a big deal. Every time we have major comets come through, there's major stuff on the planet every time. So I don't care how you look at it, there's going to be something going on. Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
And
mm.
it could be monumental because it seems like when these comets come through, it's monumental. And ironically, we've been having a lot of fires, a lot of earthquakes, a lot of volcanoes. Those
Floods.
are all in the pictures when these comets come through. So these are definitely cycles, and these have been documented time and time again. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in general, a lot of unrest in the world.
Yeah, just like the three-eye atlas, for me, it was showing measurement. And the whole rapture thing, it's always going to be the rapture. I mean, how many times have we heard that? And they talk about the separating of the wheat and the chaff, and there's the bifurcation. See, there's all this language around the same feeling. Does that make sense? So
Mm,
I wonder if the end of these cycles are time for that's when they do these splitting, these separations. And I wonder if that's why there has to be all of this radical change, because it's the only way it would make sense for many people to go different directions in their path as, experiencing consciousness.
mm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, I'm not waiting for a rapture, do you?
I don't think it's what people think it is. Like I said,
Mm.
I don't think. Well, what I think is when your consciousness anchors into a certain way of thinking, and there's like basically two paths. There's the ones that are trying to be more with the real natural world, organic, fresh food, you know, less, medications, just trying to live healthier, different, more energetic lives. And then you got the ones that are completely like, I want race cars and fast life and technology and Superman powers. And, you know, there are two different ideals of how you should exist happening slowly. And I think all of this is where, because it kind of makes you choose where you stand, with these things. And I think this is what it is. And through the course of your lifetime, things will change and you'll understand where you are. But there won't be this big thing that's like everybody's just going to be taken up and saved and take to heaven and la di da. I don't think it's that way. Not when you're on earth. It wouldn't make sense for that. It would only make sense that you would go through whatever the transition was and come out the other end of it and lay the foundations for the new energies. And they're both going to exist. See, they're both going to exist. So I don't think you're going to know when it actually happens. They showed me that when the two finally split apart, they said, you won't even know. I was like, oh, so you're telling me the two worlds are going to split apart from one and we're not going to know. And they're like, nope, you won't know. I was like, so that means it's not going to be one big moment. It's going to be 100,000 small ones, like the flooding in the Carolinas. I mean, these things that just completely change everything in a moment's notice. I think it's going to be more like that. And they showed me it's not one day, it's pockets, it's waves, it's little. I was like, wow, that makes sense. So then it's like, you won't know because it's already happening. Mhm.
Mm. Um, yeah, but I think at one point you would notice that, something has happened because some people are missing.
Yes. And yeah. And you'll see subtle changes too, where things went a different way than you thought they might go, because they're actually going into a really good direction. So you'll see that as evidence too. But they'll, again, small moves, small pockets. And they were also explaining, they said, no, the greatest change comes from the smallest things. I was like, ooh, okay. All right, I'll really work on that. The
Mm.
smallest things can produce the greatest change. I was like, hmm, okay.
Yeah.
So don't think anybody, what you're doing, your little acts of kindness, you're dreaming of a good world, all these little things, they will make the biggest change. So don't ever feel like you don't matter. You do. You do.
Mm.
Yep.
So there's also something that is, yeah, unsavory. Not that the rest of the astral world is delicious, but
Some of them
uh,
might not be so nice, we don't know yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the best feeling about this. So, and that would be astral rape, and that is a real thing.
Hmm.
And some people say it doesn't really matter if it happens in real life
Yeah.
or if it is happening in your dreams, in whatever. It is basically the same thing for, yeah, let's say your subconscious for a lot of things. How do you see that?
I think it's one of the worst attacks you can go through spiritually. It's
Mm,
just absolutely, and you know, thank God in my reality, I don't know how I've been able to keep it off me, but it's never taken. It's tried, and it always tried first to come in through my dreams. Always, always. But my spirit would wake me up and will go, whoa, you know what I mean? And so I started being hit pretty young with that, and I've always been able to recognize it. And man, these things will come in any image, the ones you trust. Oh, it's cray cray. It's cray cray. So yeah, this is real. This is definitely real, and it's a phenomenon. And it, like I said, I am so grateful I have not had to go through that, but I know many who have, and that is the violation is just horrible. It's unacceptable. It's not okay. So I can say one thing. It seems like no matter what, if something is coming after you that has not good intentions for you, you can protect yourself, but you have to find the power of your own consciousness to get into a frequency of opposition to that frequency. It's truly your best fighting tool. And I hate to say it, laugh at it. I promise you, it'll weaken it. It'll weaken it if it doesn't completely blow it out of the room. Bring in anything you can know that holds and contains light and justice and protection over an innocent that's not having their free will, you know, being honored. So there's so many things you can do in your imagination. Your imagination is your gate to your freedom. So fight. Use whatever tools come into your mind, but bring it in with a vibration that feels like, I love you. Oh, thank you for my protection, gratitude, laughter, joy. Man, sing a song, hum a vibration that makes you go into joy. These are your superpower tools, is knowing tools you can connect to emotional feelings that are positive and powerful that can protect you from the things that are not.
mm. In
Yeah.
other words, evilness cannot stand a good vibration.
It's like glass, and when an opera singer sings out that
Mm,
champagne glass and it finally just explodes, it can't hold itself together. So most of the time, they know if you can reach those frequencies, they know they don't want to be around because it kind of breaks them down at a very powerful level. It takes them a while to put themselves back together.
mm.
Oops.
So the is and that would be where also the succubus comes in.
Yeah, these energies that go after sexual energy. It's a
Mm,
specific a line of feeding they want. So yeah, they are specifically that's their target. They don't go after you to do all these other bad things. They just go after you for the sexual energy, which is very powerful energy. So they're dealing with very powerful energies. You got to imagine you are what you eat.
mm.
You are what you eat.
Yeah, so if they constantly feed on sexual energy, then yeah.
They're extremely powerful. Yes.
Mm,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, but nothing you can't handle, especially if you understand how to do it. You really, truly do have all you need inside of you. You really, really do. You just need to find that ray and shine it out. Yeah, you have a tool. You have a tool. I know you do. It's finding it. So I said, this is really about learning who you are. this process, the challenges that come in. It's about keeping your own being intact and not overrun by signals that truly are not yours.
Mm.
Yeah. Hmm.
What about astral bindings? Meaning
Mm.
you, okay,
Mm.
I see you already shaking your head. Okay, go
Mhm.
ahead.
To bind as above, so below. Man, you have no idea how that ricochet is going to bounce. You know
Mm,
what I mean? When you don't know what to do with something that's causing you harm, see, this is the beautiful thing about cooperation. Send it to the angel above them. We all have angels over us, remember? This is fact. It's part of the oversoul and soul construct. It's part of the weaving like spirit and matter. This is how the soul and the oversoul blend. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So you have these powers that you have to learn how to get into to get rid of these things. And it's the same thing. It's reflecting, reflecting, reflecting. You have to learn how to fight by knowing who and what you are and knowing that everything that's showing up around you is a reflection of your own libraries. See what I mean?
mm,
So when you can, there's so much to energy. Ugh, it overwhelms your brain. It makes it want to explode sometimes because it's so big. It's connected by so many different layers and levels. These things are coming in because they want what you are, and they want to ride around in your house because it's kind of what happens here. It's just how it works here. So I know that we've existed in times where this wasn't how we were operating. So, we were more etheric bodies, light bodies. We were creators. I think if there were like original seeders of planets, why wouldn't it have been us? You know, the garden, the ones that came out of the garden, we were kicked out of the garden. Well, what happens in a garden? You got seeders and planters and people who tend the crops. You know, we might be those creative, organic, original beings. And this might be why now there's such a suffrage and so many losses of our plants and our species is because it's been taken over by copies instead of creation. And I wonder if that's like a sentence of not good things for the planet and all of creation. So I look at these things on such a big scale and a small scale, but when you find your soul and you understand what is contained within that, and you understand that is the way you connect to the universe, the galaxy, and the cosmos. It is it's too big to get your brain around it. It's completely huge. This is part of the oneness that we all are as our essence. Essence. But I do think we've got multiple species on the planet wearing human bodies that don't have that essence from source. That divine spark of soul, which has the ability to have memory and continuity, and it is immortal and it is eternal. So that I think there's a difference between that. And that's what we're fighting with. We're fighting with the ones that have a regenerative light versus the ones that need to feed off that light. So when you understand the process, it makes it a lot easier to see what you're dealing with and break off connections that you no longer choose. Now, the construct is going to feed regardless. You know what I mean? Because you are a battery as well. We're positive, negative, polar beings with, bi-hemispheres. We are bipedal. We are that. We are in an energy system. The Torah field is positive, negative, neutral. This trinity is what holds all matter together through the, structures of all operation. So you can control this field if you understand how it's working, and you can start to understand when energies are coming at you, it's only because you have an awareness or an affinity with it. So you can stop fearing it and know it's part of you. And then you can come up against it in a million different ways. You can be like, how can I help you heal? How can I balance you out? And, I can adjust you with my frequency being the opposite of what that is because, or I can mimic it and it'll cancel it. There's a million different things that you can do as soon as you can understand what you are. So this is the thing we got to figure out is what is your aura? What is a biofield? How are you connected to the world? How are you connected to the soul? Can you identify the differences? What inside you is operating as true organic source connection, and what is in you that's operating the matrix? Starting to identify those parts of self. It's a big separation in it, and it feels really weird because when you start to disconnect from certain things, I think that's what they talk about that, walking 40 days in the desert stuff is all about. It's kind of weird, because you feel like you've been disconnected, but then you feel like you start to connect to something a little bit more true, but a little bit more subtle. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So, we got a lot of unlayering to do because we've been immersed in a lot of signals that really aren't your true authentic signal. So, these are all signals when you get down to it. They literally are
yeah, and
producing
that is where solitude comes in as very beneficial.
absolutely. Because you can't dissect yourself and look at what's happening in your universe if you're being distracted by everything outside of you. And that is the most important thing. And look at how hard it is to get a clear signal in our environment. It's almost impossible, really. I
Mm,
mean, this technology and the signals and the radio waves and all of the stuff, all of these are worldwide. I mean, it's more and more difficult. That shows you how close we are. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because yeah, and with all of the disruption and the endings and the crazy cataclysms and fires and all of the stuff happening in the world, the signals are really trying to be set low. So, that's why we're here right now is to keep the energies as high as we can. And I know that's hard because, the world really is happening. It really is.
Mm,
So, but the more we can do of that, the better it's going to help the whole entire situation. And, I think it'll help us get through the transition and help us find each other along the way. So, we can start to create, better systems for, loving plants, animals, people, empathy, love, and compassion.
mm. Do you think it is possible if an individual starts out with that spark, with that light? Is it possible that we ourselves can destroy it by hanging out with, yeah, let's say evil spirits, do unspeakable things and yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, do you think it's possible to destroy that light? Because I sometimes wonder if I agree with you that I don't feel, I definitely do not see the light in many people, but
Mhm.
I wonder if they started out as whole and down the road they just lost themselves and kind of a situation like Dr. Faustus, yeah, that Goethe wrote,
Yeah.
that, yeah.
I think that there's, like I said, a more than one opportunity for the harvesting of the light.
Mm,
So I think it can happen in a few different ways. I mean, just two that I could think of is, people do say they sell their soul and do that kind of stuff. They're giving their light operation power over to an entity. So they're working through them. So, and that will deplete and siphon their energy out very hard. But if they break connection for a while and regenerate, because I don't think the energy ever dies. Even if it was to die within it, it doesn't die. It literally it goes to another location. So that's why they say, energy cannot ever be created or destroyed. It already exists and it will always exist. That's why it bilocates. So, you can lose more and more and more life force until there's hardly anything left, and then that spark eventually will go out. But that's only because it's completely left this realm and it's completely just bilocated into a different part. But I don't think it's ever destroyed. I really don't.
Mm.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, I meant this, let me rephrase that. I meant destroyed in the sense that that particular person no longer carries it.
Yeah, I think yes. I think that can happen through possession. So entity agreements, yeah, I really do. I've seen people that change under those influences and get so strong and do crazy things and say different languages, and that's not them. And that thing wants to hurt you. I mean, and it ain't playing. So no, I know that is fact. You can give your light can be destroyed and taken over, completely ruled by dark forces. And that's by agreement. People actually uh, sometimes agree. Some people, like children, I think some children, I don't know how, but they get actually taken over. And I don't think they agreed that. And I struggle with that. I really struggle with that. So, there's lots of ways that can happen, yes. And I think, when you do give away your spark as an agreement for these certain prizes, and they can utilize your life force energy, yeah, I think that has a lot of bad ways it can go. And eventually the consciousness that's here, it might not ever get to continue that consciousness because the spark will leave it and go back to its original source, which won't hold that. It won't do it because that's why it left, or it would stay. And I think that's why we still have all the darkness continuing, because it's really hard for you to get rid of a light.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
I think it's a little tougher than they thought, Judith.
so another aspect that I see with astral binding is sometimes if you end up in a narcissistic relationship. And especially when you find yourself in a situation that you cannot really go away, in your mind it's logical and you have to get out of that entire situation, but you can't for some stupid reason. And sometimes if those things can go so badly, these
Mhm,
narcissistic relationships,
mhm.
and I wonder if they are sometimes also created in the astral to make it extra hard for somebody.
Absolutely. Yeah. You see, it's very similar, what you see in the immediate surrounding realms.
Mm.
They're kind of doing the same things we're doing. For real. It's very interesting because you see a lot of towns, and you'll see copies of this in different forms. It's because it's astral and it changes with the collective that's in it. It can move. It can literally readjust itself. It's very interesting. Yeah, yeah, it's not as fixed, It's interesting the way these energies will move in the different realms. So no, yeah. Yeah, I definitely see all that.
And I had this thought because I find that the narcissist um, behaves in a very similar way, um, like these critters that feed on our energy, and the preferred energy is fear, because a narcissist can suck you dry
No,
emotionally, mentally, and in some cases, even financially.
I have personal experience with that. And that is, I think, personality wise, I think it might be one of the most challenging. in the entire basket of choices to go from. Because, man, narcissism, it's the only thing that completely makes you start to doubt yourself.
Hmm.
And that is a power tool as to none the like I've only seen with one other being, and that would be the ones they all call God. The
Mm.
judgment. Remember the judgment, the fear.
Mm.
So, narcissism, if you bring that into your life, you need to understand, for one, you're probably empathic.
Yeah.
And number two, you wanted to bring in one of the most difficult challenges that this planet can offer for one reason and one reason only. Don't ever doubt yourself. And that's what they want you to forget. And that's the game they want you to play. But as soon as you remember, it's game over.
Yeah. And
Game over.
the truth is that usually there are red flags in the beginning, but
Yeah.
we are willingly ignoring them
Yeah.
and and being and then being in a narcissistic relationship, it can turn your entire world upside down.
Because they convince you that you're the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I
Exactly.
mean. They convince you to doubt yourself. And when they can get you to doubt yourself, that is the strongest tool of weakening your value of self. It is the strongest tool to defeat your light because you literally just told the God, part of God that lives in your soul, that it is not valuable and that it is not worthy of trusting its own thoughts, and that somebody outside of you has more authority over the God inside of you than you did when you were given that gift, not them. That's not theirs, it's yours. And you're choosing to let them dominate you and feed off you rather than shining your light and holding your sovereignty. They teach you to doubt yourself.
Yeah.
That is a powerful thing. There's only a few things in this world that will do that, and that's one of them. So, like I said, empaths, they come straight for empaths because they can make you feel the way they want by creating it in themselves and knowing that you'll take it on and feel it. These are masterminds, and they believe their own story. Oh my God. So, really tough, really tough. But the ones of you going through this, you're the strongest.
Mm.
Go. So don't you doubt yourself.
Mm.
You need to take care of you, boo, because nobody else can.
That is, for instance, the case if you're with an alcoholic, and there
Same
will
thing.
come a day when the alcoholic is telling you, you are the reason why I drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah. But when that's you gotta command and demand your frequency. So when people are beating you down and making you not feel good, it's better to go through the suffer of fear of change because we all want to cling to our reality. It's scary to enter a new one, especially if there's a lot of challenges coming forth through that change. You know what I mean? So these things are hard, and it's made that way for us to be stuck.
yeah.
So, you got to trust yourself. You have more than you know. And when people do the things that they never thought they could ever do physically capable, it's in case of emergency. That emergency bell goes off, you do things you never knew you could ever. And that's because you're finally tapping into the well of your potential. And it takes extreme fear to make most people open that box because we like to stay safe in our little reality and we fear change a whole bunch. And that's natural.
Mm.
It is. Yeah,
Or,
but you can be stronger than it. But
yeah,
it does require courage. It really does. And you really got to love yourself enough to say, no, I think I know better about myself than anybody else. And I think I know what I know. And I don't care if he's telling me that that's my fault, that he's doing what he's doing to me. I know now that's not true. And I'm no longer going to believe in somebody else's lie when I can feel the truth inside of me. And I know what's true. And I'm going to trust what's true. And I'm going to take care of that within me above the one who's trying to tell me that it's me doing it to them. You got it. I know it's a battle and I know it's hard, but boy, if you do it, when you win that one, let me tell you how many other areas of your life you start to win in as well. It's a whole reaction through the whole system of your reality.
Yeah.
So I give you the strength of a million helpers to help you with that challenge if you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same goes for if you are with a partner that beats you.
Hmm.
Same story.
Yeah.
Definitely. One fine day you will hear, I don't want to hurt you. You make me do
Right.
it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Most of the time that comes straight out of the gate. You made me do that. Yeah. Most of the time that's right out of the gate.
Yeah.
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 Nope. You will only experience that which you create. So I know that's a hard thing to hear because it is terrible when you think about it and you're in something that's dangerous and scary and you feel like there's nowhere to go. God, that is hard. It is so, so difficult. But you have more power and more strength than you ever imagined. But man, you really got to tap into it and believe that you can. And I know that that's a scary step too. But,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes we bring ourselves down to our knees
Yeah.
so you can find the strength to finally get up off of them. And it's rough, but you guys can do this. You were built for this, honestly.
Yeah. A couple of
Mm.
years ago, I had a lady on, and she reported about her experiences in a cult.
Hmm.
And that is the same mechanism. The cult leader, you can bet your head on it, is a narcissist. Yeah.
Yes.
And it came to a point one fine day, she left the house. She left only with her clothes on her back, had no
That's right.
idea, yeah, what is next. And but she succeeded. She has a wonderful partnership now, and she's self-employed. But there is always that moment when you do not know what is coming next, where you have this, as if somebody is holding you back. You do not really want to make that step. Okay, I am in hell, but at least I know where I sleep tonight. But
Right.
once you do that and you take that leap of faith, then other doors will open.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Yes. And you have to manifest it before you go. This is the biggest part of the thing with the ones that succeed and the ones that don't. Imagine getting out 100 different ways. Open the universe's potentials to help you in 100 different ways. And then it'll expand from there. See getting out, see finding safety, see finding a better world, a better life, a better existence, a better job, a better everything. See it however it works for you. But you have to see it before you can be it. Your imagination is the magic part of you. You have to see it as God can see and sends images to us for us to emanate those images. And God is not a man on a chair for me. Okay, it's way bigger than that. So, the word thing is tough, Judith.
Yeah.
The word thing gets a little hard sometimes. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, that force that creates all that is, it creates with no bias to it. It's creative force, and many people utilize that creative force for bad things, and some utilize it for good. But it's up to the power of you as your consciousness what you do with that. So dream all the ways, all the ways you can think of how you could be where you want to be. And start with just simple things, seeing yourself sitting down at a kitchen table with a cup of coffee or whatever makes you happy, and a book, and feeling peace, and just breathing and being, oh my God, I feel so much better than I ever have in a long time. I actually feel safe. You know, whatever it is for you, you got to feel it. You got to feel it like it's real, because this is how you will manifest your new reality. You have to bring it in through magnetics. Magnetics are the feeling part. Okay. So you can't say, oh, I'm going to get out of this terrible situation, but I'm going to just sit down and think about how bad that situation is every day. Guess what? You're going to walk out the door and you're going to run into the next person and do the same thing, because that's how it works.
Mm.
It
What,
does. I mean,
what,
you are that powerful. This is the message I want people to realize. You're suffering. Really, it's because of you. And if when you really understand that, then you can change it. You literally can start to change your world by your magnetics, what you're bringing in. And that's by feeling something much better than what you're currently experiencing.
why do you think our society produces so many narcissists? I mean, sometimes, honestly, I have the impression there are more narcissists than, regular people.
I think you're right.
Hmm.
I think you're right. I really do. But again, that validates for me how important and how special the ones that are carrying the divine spark of soul and emanating in an empathic, compassionate, loving way in this world. That's why, they can run so many of them off so little of us. And that's why they probably keep the numbers kind of low. It's because when people figure out how special they truly are, it could be a game changer. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. A game changer. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we were created for this, but this was allowed because I think it opened up potentials for growth and learning, that blending different species together could only bring. So, I do understand the divinity of the plan of going so low into different matters and different combinations of genetics that were uh, most of the time not ordained by creation and ordained by, other species tinkering with creation. So that's where you get the glitches and the giddy up, because things have been put together that were never meant to be put together. So that created very interesting outcomes, though. So you understand?
Mm.
There's a lot to this whole creation thing. It's so big. It's just so big. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just big. Yeah.
So, believe it or not, my dear Trina,
Hmm.
our hour is gone.
That is crazy. And I didn't even get to look at my notes one time. One time.
Yeah, but please, if you have something that you would like to mention, go ahead.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I will just show a little bit of this, and don't mind my scratch. It's terrible, I know. But you see, that's the body, and there's the egg, and there's the vibrational fields going out from them.
Mm-hmm.
Those vibrational fields are all trinities. So when you can start to lock into these, remember the Tesla, that if you can understand the power of 3, 6, and 9,
Mm-hmm.
you can alter. Okay, because the first three layers are representing the gamma rays, X rays, and ultraviolet rays. And that's the wave in that spectrum of frequencies. Then the
Mm-hmm.
next one is basically a whole new set of frequencies, energy, and and producing sound. So the first one is dealing with light, second one is dealing with sound and vibration. And then the last one is dealing again with light, infrared, microwave, and radio. So those are another three layers of communication that's hitting your field 24/7. See what I'm saying? You are so layered with these technologies, these internal technologies you were born into. The signals you're getting are a lot. So, that's why they always say to find your balance, you must go within. That's what they're talking about. You got to get away from the outside stimulus and you literally have to go into the power, light, spark frequency that's inside the center part of your being, and literally you're going to operate the new trinity, which is your original one, which is another center of the head and one center around the belly. So you're going to have a three light structure you're going to collapse into, and you're going to be going more through soul. So you'll be getting signal through soul. So this is the thing, is learning how to connect back to who you truly are through your powers. And if they're using all these threes with technology outside of you, first clue, that is going to be your source stream of power of your emotional and physical and mental processing of your being, is going to be through that original three. So that was one of the things I wanted to talk about, was that powerful collapsing of all the overlays that connect you to the planets and connect you to the systems and connect you to all of it through the holographic part that we're creating, to get back into the original stream of creation through your soul pillar or column of light. And that's why they focus so intently on the 33 in the spine, because see, 3 and 3 make 6. You're using bipole power, positive and negative, and knowing how to unify. See, these are all codes teaching you how to truly reconnect to what you are, but they flip it and distort it to make you go outside, to confuse you and bring you into their signals. So go within, remember who you are, trust what you know, and
Mm.
be good to you.
Trina, I think I need to have you back on that subject and dive a
Okay.
little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we do
Yeah,
that?
there's a lot too. The connections. There's so much to it, Judith. I told you, it's the more I'm looking into it, is the bigger it's unpacking. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is incredible. It's a very big system.
Yeah, especially about the collapsing of those systems. I think we have to talk a
Yeah,
little bit longer about that. But very interesting thought, and we will come back to that.
awesome. I would
Okay.
love to.
Yeah, so that was it, guys. Night flight for today, and we see you on the next one.